Welcome to the very first posting to my brand spanking new blog. The purpose of this blog is really to document my journey through the doctoral program here at the University of Wyoming. I'm going to do that in a lot of different ways. For one thing, I'm going to be using a few different books as a guide to what I talk about, the first of which is going to be Navigating the Doctoral Journey. I'll make sure I put a link down in the bottom if anyone wants to check that book out. And so this book has been assigned to me by a class. However, I have so far found it to be a really interesting look into the thought process that you need to go through while you are pursuing your doctorate. So the first thing to really think about, and the book calls this the entry stage. And the entry stage, for the most part, I've actually already done. I did it, unfortunately, before I read this book, although I think this book still has a lot to offer people, even in this section, if you've already started your program, because it contains a lot of questions you should be asking yourself as you look into doing a doctoral program. What kind of programs are out there? How do they expect you to navigate the journey itself? What are their tools that the different universities and different programs have? Especially, there's a focus on, are you going to be going into the classroom and learning with other people, or are you going to be doing this at a distance? This is going to be distance learning. The program here at the University of Wyoming is mostly face-to-face. There are certainly classes that are offered online, so it's a little bit of a mix, but either way, that's the program that I ended up in, and I'm really happy and excited to be here, even if I didn't really ask those important questions that I could have early on. But once you've already decided on your program, then you really have to start thinking about what is going to make you successful and what are things that you need to be on the lookout for. Now, the question that I want to start off answering regarding that is a little bit of background in how I perceive the journey to a doctorate, and then also a little bit in how I perceive what my potential pitfalls are going to be. And this is going to be completely based on me. We're all going to have our own background, and we're all going to expect different things from a program based on what we know our weaknesses are. So for myself, my background is that my mother has an associate's degree, and my father has a bachelor's and a master's degree. However, all those degrees were obtained later. They were non-traditional students, and they got their degrees a little bit later in life. So the message that was given to me as I was growing up was that higher education is important, and it can happen at any point in your life when you're ready for it, which is probably why I've entered this program at 34. So I have had some experiences already out in the wide world, and now I'm ready to study what I'm interested in a new way. What I'm interested in is education. So I am in a curriculum and instruction program, and I am focusing, at least for now, on the idea of where math and literacy meet. But I don't know if I would have been as willing to do that at this stage if I hadn't had that example set for me at home. So we're all going to have different backgrounds there. So the next thing, and this is even more personal, is that what are the pitfalls that I see coming towards me? They're probably pretty common to a lot of people. I'm worried about how this is going to affect my family. You know, how my the different obligations that I'm going to have to be balancing, how well am I going to be able to do that? And especially for me, I have what has been called by some the perfect teacher voice, although the more I learn about education, the less I'm sure about that. But what I mean by the perfect teacher voice is that I always sound like not only do I know what I'm talking about, but I'm sure I'm right. That's how I sound. It's not always true. How that translates, though, is that I often come off as very arrogant and very inflexible because I think I know the answer, and because I sound like I think I know the answer, it gives the impression that I'm not willing to change my thoughts, which isn't true. And I've worked hard to try and make it clear that that's not how it goes. But that is one of my biggest personal stumbling blocks that I'm going to have to get over because, as is pointed out in Navigating the Doctoral Journey, when you join a doctoral program, you're going to be working with a very small group of people for a very extended period of time in very collaborative ways. And if you can't make good and healthy working relationships with those people, you're going to have a much harder time going through the process. All right, so I'm going to stop there for right now because I think that's much longer than anyone actually wants to listen to me talk about the doctoral journey and its first stages. I will try and post twice a week, if not more. Next, I want to take a look at learning environments and learning spaces and how they're set up and what the potential problems in those spaces could be by examining my spaces personally. So I'll see you in a couple days.